Welcome to the It's All About Missions podcast with Brady Van Winkle, as we endeavor to talk about missions and the need for the gospel all around the world. We hope we can help you find your place in world evangelism. And for questions or for more information, please check out it'sallaboutmissions.com. And now we hope you enjoy the show. Hello, and thank you for joining us on this week's episode of It's All About Missions Country of the Week, Country Spotlight. And this week we're going back to the Middle East and looking at an Asian country there in the Middle East, the country of Qatar. And a lot of people may know a little bit about it, may not know much about it, but it's right there on the Saudi Arabian Peninsula. It's a very small little country, very, very itty-bitty little thing. And it's very close there. It's right in the Saudi Arabian Peninsula and all along there. But what's interesting about it, most people know about it, is because it's a very wealthy country. A lot of money is there. Population of the city's right around, or country is right around 3 million, but most of that population is going to live in Doha. Doha is the capital city there and the largest city. About 2 million people live in and around Doha. And, it's interesting to see the people that have residence there. There's really a lot of people that live there aren't even from Qatar themselves, so to say. They're from many different places. They come there to do business and work there and live there. And if you look at the pictures of the capital city of Doha, it's an absolutely beautiful city. It's amazing to see the beauty and the wealth that is there and the money that's poured into that country. But, just because of that, it's a country, though, that is basically predominantly Islam, and people there try to do all that they can to please Allah, to try to earn favor with God, to try to get to heaven. What's sad about that is they're headed straight towards hell. And they have money. They think they have everything that makes them happy. They can buy whatever they want. A lot of times, there's a lot of wealth there in Qatar. But what's sad is those people, the money can't do them any good after they die. They're going to die and go straight to hell without Christ. So we need to pray that God raise up laborers, that God raise someone to go to the people of Qatar and reach them with the gospel. It won't be an easy place to work because of the people that live there. Because there's a lot of people there that have money, and those people are automatically harder to work with. But also on top of that, you have people there that are Muslim, that are blinded by their faith. And it would not be an easy place to work. It'd be a very expensive place to work. But you know what? God didn't say, go ye therefore into all the world, unless it's expensive, unless there's rich people there. He said, no, he said, go to the whole world. We need to pray for God to raise up laborers to go to the country of Qatar. One thing you might know about Qatar is in a couple years, in 2022, they will be hosting the FIFA World Cup. And so all the world's eyes will be turning there, but we should be praying right now for Qatar, that we could see Qatar reach the gospel in this generation. And let's be praying. Maybe there's people that are already laboring there. Pray for those that might be Christians that are working there, laboring there, that God will work in their hearts and lives and embolden them. The pastors and the churches that are there, that they'll see fruit for the labor. Let's pray for those that are living in Qatar, that are lost and on their way to hell, that God can work in their hearts and lives, that God can send someone, and that God will raise up an army to go, and we can see Qatar reach with the gospel in this generation. As always, I hope that you'll be doing and endeavoring wherever you are to be doing all that you can to help see the world reach the gospel in this generation. You should be praying, you should be giving, you should be attending your church, you should be faithfully involved in your church, be sharing the gospel, be discipling. But you know what? I'd ask you to pray and give your life to God and say, God, whatever you'd have me to do, I'll do it. And strongly consider giving your life to the gospel all around the world so that we can see the world reach the gospel in this generation. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of It's All About Missions. And we'd like to ask you to do a couple things for us. The first thing I ask you to do, so if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date when all of our new episodes drop. And that way, as a new episode comes, you'll get a notification that lets you know, hey, we've got a new episode of It's All About Missions. Second thing I ask you to do, if you haven't yet, please make sure to leave us a review. These reviews are very vital, and they help us out, and they help other people to see us in the podcast player of choice. They'll see us and see those reviews and say, hey, I want to check out this podcast. And lastly, one other thing I'd like you to do, why don't you share us with a friend, a family member, somebody you know, and say, hey, why don't you go over and check out It's All About Missions. That'll help us grow our audience, help people to know more about It's All About Missions, and guess what? It'll help more people get involved in reaching the world with the gospel. I want to challenge you to know that the Bible, it's all about missions. And as a Christian, your life should be all about missions. And what are you going to do to impact the world with the gospel in this generation?